I grew up going to Renaissance fairs. My mom made me go when I was young. Like her and all her friends would like dress up full garb, Renaissance fair style.
Would you like do the jousting?
Or they don't let the commoners do the jousting down.
Sorry, that's not right. I think we should do a whole Renaissance fair episode. With, like,
Yeah, like you go, like you drill.
I would love to go to the Renaissance fair. Would you come?
Yeah.
Hello, welcome to Home Movies. I'm Alison Roman, and today we are going to
The Renaissance Fair.
Today we are going to grill a fish. We are going to grill a whole fish. I'm really excited. Similarly to spring chicken, the basic moral of this story is like, I want to teach you how to grill a fish, but also like, then what? What do you eat it with? How do you serve it? How do you make it like a full dinner meal? In the recipe, which you can find in the description below, we'll adapt it to do it stovetop or in an oven. So if you don't have a grill, that's okay too. But if you do have a grill, you are gonna want to pay attention to the grill part. I would do this instead of hot dogs. I would do this instead of burgers. I would do this instead of sausage. Like, if you wanna have a summer grilling party that feels a little bit more elevated and maybe you're not comfortable doing large cuts of meat, or maybe people don't eat meat, this is a really nice thing that feels honestly pretty celebratory, even though you're not doing that much work. We are gonna spend a considerable amount of time focusing on the whole fish, what to look for, what to buy, how to grill it, how to fillet it when you're ready to eat it, all that stuff. We'll get there. But first, to sort of round out the whole fish, I sort of think of it as making sure that there's something from each category. I want something saucy, so we're gonna make a preserved lemon sort of dressing. I want like a starchy thing, and that could be potato salad or just boiled crushed potatoes or lemony potatoes. I'm gonna use Orzo. And then from there, it's kind of like, okay, well, what else is around right now? I'm wanting like tomatoes, and I'm just gonna slice them with some onions and salt and let them sit out, and then cucumbers and olives together. The reason I chose those two things is because they've got a lot of crunchiness, a lot of acidity, a lot of savoriness, and you know, between bites of fish, it's exactly what I want to eat. The first thing we're gonna do before we even think about the fish is kind of prepare all of the sides. So things like the Orzo salad, the preserved lemon dressing, the tomatoes and the onions, the cucumbers and olives, those can all sit, and they can sit for hours or honestly even days. So I'm gonna get those going first before we even talk about the fish. I'm gonna boil my Orzo. And Orzo just cooks like pasta, so salted boiling water. Oh my God, it's so cute. Al dente perfection in 9 to 10 minutes. Orzo salad is something that will last a literal eternity in your fridge. So if you have leftovers, bring it to a friend, eat it for lunch the next day, put some tuna over it, I don't know, do whatever you want. This is gonna be one salad. It's just gonna be sliced tomatoes and sliced onion. I don't have to use sun golds. I really love them. I think they're really sweet and cute and tart. If you have regular tomatoes, you can use those too. And the Orzo salad is just gonna be simple cooked Orzo, lots of herbs, almost like tabbouleh style. You can keep it really fast and loose, but this will be your herby moment. I think I'll do chive, dill, and parsley. Preserved lemons. I think that they are worth making your own. There's a recipe for them in my cookbook, Dining In. You can find them on the internet. You can find them in a lot of Middle Eastern groceries. I got these at Sahadi's. It's a really excellent Middle Eastern grocery store on Atlantic in Brooklyn. They're preserved lemons. I don't know where they're coming from, but they're awesome. I always encourage people to try multiple brands of something you're not familiar with, because they can really range from texture to flavor and quality. So finding the brand that you like, that you know is carried where you live, is important to me.
Can you give a quick primer for the, because I don't know.
A quick what?
A quick, like, what a preserved lemon is?
Did you say primer?
Yeah. Primer?
Primer?
Yeah.
Primer.
Both work, I think.
No.
Yeah,
Primer?
for sure.
Are you in London?
Yeah.
Primer.
Okay, real quick before we dive into that primer, I'm going to boil the Orzo. So I'm just gonna dump this in the pot. Preserved lemon is a lemon that has been preserved in salt. What this does is it preserves it, so it keeps the lemon intact and usable for many, many months and or years. But what it also does is it tenderizes the flesh, it tenderizes the peel, it makes it so the entire thing is edible. And the final result is something that's like very salty, very tangy, very different than a regular lemon. See how it just kind of softens the entirety of the lemon? And it makes it so you can use the whole thing. If I've ever told you to cook with a whole lemon and you didn't care for it, try a preserved lemon. This is a very intense product. You may decide that half of a preserved lemon is good for you, but because I'm serving, let's call it 6 to 8 people with this, I think having this dressing on hand also, if you have extra, is a really good idea. Just like I would a normal lemon, I'm gonna make sure that all the seeds are removed. Sometimes when you buy preserved lemon, they come halved or quartered. These particular ones are whole, which I like. This is one of my favorite dressings to eat with fish. It's salty, it's lemony, it's tangy, it's garlicky. It's pretty ideal, especially if you want to break from just like an herby thing. This to me is a delight, and it keeps for a really long time in the fridge. If you don't have preserved lemons, you can start with like a half of a regular lemon and do the same recipe, or just skip it all together and squeeze lemon over your fish. That's also good. I'm gonna grate a whole clove of garlic into here. And this is like an assertive dressing for a fish, but I really do find it so, so delicious. It's also good on chicken. I'm not gonna add any additional salt because that preserved lemon has a lot, but I am gonna add a lot of pepper. If you wanted this spicy, you could add chili flake to it. So in here is just the chopped preserved lemon, pepper, garlic. I'm gonna add some vinegar. You could also use lemon juice, but I find that like adding something like vinegar, which has a little bit more sweetness, and just a different level of acidity, is nice in combination with the lemon. I rarely make like a dressing for anything, but here it really works. We add the olive oil because otherwise the whole dressing would just be like way too sharp, way too acidic. Fish, especially the kind we're gonna grill, which is branzino, very lean, has almost no fat. So this is essentially where you're getting most of it from. The reason we do this first is because it really does like to get to know each other in the bowl. Even if you could make this a day ahead, that would be great. Dressings like this that tend to be really assertive and have lots of like concentrated punchy flavors really benefit from like extra time together. I also definitely should have used a bigger pot. I just want everyone to know that I should have used a bigger pot. Wow, this is strong. The reason I'm rinsing it is because I don't want the orzo to be sticky. So I'm almost just treating it like a grain. I'm gonna do the cucumbers now. Cucumbers to set. I love eating cucumbers with fish. I also love olives. I think that I was like going in this Mediterranean direction, like subconsciously, where I was like orzo, and then I was like, oh, olive, and I'll probably bust out some feta at some point. And to me, I've never been to Greece, but it feels Grecian to me. I'm gonna start just by pitting these olives, using a side of my knife to just crush them slightly. It shouldn't, be too olivey, but I do kind of think that the olives are going to effectively season the cucumber. So they're doing a lot of work here. If you don't like olives, put them on the side. Don't buy them at all, see if I care. I'm tired of trying to convince people to eat olives, and I think that I just have to accept the fact that some of you don't. I'm gonna put the olives directly into this bowl. When you're eating a whole fish, you can keep it as simple or elaborate as you want. To me, the impressive part is the fish, and everything else that you eat with it should sort of just like complement the fish. The fish is Diana Ross, and these salads are the Supremes. And then to cut these cucumbers, I just take the ends off. These are Persian cucumbers. I ate half of this as a snack. You can use whatever type of cucumber you can find. And to kind of mimic the like craggliness of the olive, I like to smash them or crush them. So kind of like what I just did with the olive, I basically cut the cucumber in like olive-sized pieces. There's a million ways to crush a cucumber. You can put these in a Ziploc bag. You could use a mortar and pestle for something like this where I'm just doing a smallish amount, cutting them into like essentially like an olive-sized piece and then just crushing them with the side of your knife is quite effective. It helps the cucumber absorb more dressing, but also for me, it's like a nice aesthetic choice. And cutting them on the bias like that just makes them easier to smash. It's also really fun to do. You'd be shocked at how much cutting a vegetable or just manipulating it in its physical form changes like the eating experience. These videos, like this spring chicken and this whole fish dinner, are honestly like the most reflective of how I actually cook and eat. Like if I'm having people over for dinner, I'm probably making like one main coursey type thing, a standing rib roast in the winter, a big lasagna, a whole fish, a spring chicken, and then I'm just augmenting with other small sort of like bright, tangy, punchy sides that are mostly vegetables. Shout out to every person who thought that this was a piece of ham or bologna in that salad video.
What?
Yes. So many people were like, was that a piece of bologna? I was like, what? No. Salt and pepper, I'll add a splash of vinegar. They don't need much. And if you weren't adding a bunch of herbs to that orzo salad or you weren't serving an herby salad, this would be a good place for herbs. So in here, it's just crushed cucumbers, crushed olives, salt, pepper, and a splash of vinegar. The tomato salad is gonna be the onion moment. Otherwise, I would have added like scallion or chives or thinly sliced onion to this. But I sort of feel like eating this with that, like you're getting all the flavors together anyway. Everything that you serve this with should go together. So like, if I spoon that preserved lemon dressing on these cucumbers, it should taste amazing. If I get the tomato juice on the orzo salad, it should be fantastic. Like, you should be prepared for everything to kind of mingle together when you're eating it. I'm just gonna do like a ton of herbs in this bowl. Add the orzo, we'll season it with some acidity, lemon juice, vinegar, whatever, olive oil, lots of cracked pepper. I may add like a small chili flake moment to it. Or no, I'll do chili flake on the tomatoes, that's what I'll do. We're making it up as we go along here, people.
You don't have this ready.
It's almost like I'm just winging it, and I am. But no, I do this all the time. That's the beauty of this dish. Like, that's the beauty of this whole video. I feel like it's like, you don't want an onion, you don't have it, don't include it. You wanna dress the cucumbers and olives with preserved lemon instead of making this dressing, do that. Like, it's sort of like anything really goes, and I hope that you see the chaotic flexibility as a pro, not a con. I would be flattered if you followed this whole thing to the T. You'll have an amazing experience, but also feel free to just like expand and do your own thing.
It's a classic Virgo Aries rising.
It's a classic Virgo Aries moon. Libra rising. Balance, justice.
I'm sorry, could we stop the gibberish?
I'm gonna do a lot of parsley. Parsley is my favorite herb. If I had to rank these herbs, parsley is number 1. Cilantro is number 2. We'll go dill 3, chives 4. Because chives are sort of replaceable in that like we can approximate, you know, an allium flavor with scallion or onion or shallot or whatever. But the rest of these are irreplaceable, and the reason this is number 1 is because it's utility. It provides bulk, it provides texture, it provides freshness. The flavor is the most muted of these, but I find that to be the most versatile. You can use it in pretty much anything. Cilantro, the flavor, irreplaceable, but like parsley, provides a lot of heft and texture. It goes with a wide assortment of flavors, of spices. It like speaks very loudly when it's around. And then dill, what can I say that I haven't already said? Also irreplaceable. Just not as versatile as the other two, so it ranks lower, unfortunately.
I feel like there's like breaking news, like Alison or Dale's favorite herb.
Well, I did it on Instagram stories, and people were like, I can't believe dill isn't your favorite. But like, just because something's your favorite doesn't mean you do it all the time. Like I have like a favorite outfit. I would never wear it all the time. I don't wear it as much as a white t-shirt, you know? All right, I'm gonna add some parsley. Let's do like half a bunch here. And especially in an application like this, I always use the coarse stem of both cilantro and parsley. But here, I'm especially going for it because it's more salad than anything else. We're not making a sauce. I don't mind if it's a bit coarser. And the stems have really great texture. Parsley stems are totally edible and absolutely delicious. There's no reason we shouldn't be eating them. Is that ham? I just rinsed these and then I'm lightly drying them. I don't have a salad spinner, but if I did, I'd probably use it for this. I'm gonna take off these really coarse stems. Like this, I don't need to eat. The herbs could really go anywhere in this dish. You could serve them on this side, but with the orzo, they're just like, you know, tabbouleh-ish, and I really enjoy that. And then dill, our old friend. I'm just gonna straight up add this to this. It should be like almost equal parts or like more herb than orzo. Yeah, this could easily be rice too if you were not living that gluten lifestyle, which I know many of you aren't. Just like any salad, I'm gonna season first with salt, pepper, and acid, and then I'm gonna add the olive oil. But this will take quite a bit of olive oil. This lemon is dry as hell. I'm gonna measure this so I don't have to do it later. I'm finally learning. Let's call it a quarter cup. That is a dream salad to me. Delightful. Just to recap, we have orzo salad. It's like your hefty grain-ish moment. Use rice, use barley, use farro, use whatever grain you want. Our salty, tangy, garlicky, preserved lemon dressing, which is gonna go good on everything here, but mostly our grilled fish. Our crushed olives and cucumbers, which are just sitting and sort of like marinating in one another's juices. summer 2021. And our tomatoes, which we'll slice right before we eat, they'll just get tossed with some fresh onion, and that's it. This is a tale of two fishes. I just came up with that, like on the fly. These are whole, they're scaled, and they're gutted. So this whole thing is edible except for the bones. And this is what it looks like. This is where you would like season the fish. It's got flexibility, it's easy to maneuver on the grill, and the bones inside, just like bone and skin on chicken, are gonna help the fish stay juicy and prevent overcooking, and it's just, to me, a lot more foolproof. I know it can seem more intimidating because there's bones inside, and what do you do with the bones afterwards, and I'll show you, but to me, this is a much better bet if you're concerned about overcooking or like finagling this fish on the grill. Alternatively, what you can do is you can ask for it to be butterflied and 100% cleaned. And what that means is it's gutted, it's scaled, just like this one, except they've gone in through here and then removed all of the spine. So it's totally deboned. There's still some bones here in the collar, but you can eat around those. But this spine has been removed. The good news here is that you don't have to deal with the bones after the fact. The bad news here is that there's no bones protecting the fish from overcooking. And it also is a bit floppy. Like it is just kind of like, meh. And so when it's on the grill, it could flop open, it can do whatever. So if you're doing it this way, I recommend tying it with twine, which to me is just like an additional kind of almost more annoying step. For my money and for my experience, it's the whole fish with the bones in it every time. Because we are going to grill them really simply, there's nothing you need to worry about adding here except for salt, really. I'm gonna add some pepper and I'm gonna also stuff it with lemon, just like you would when you're roasting a chicken. The lemon steams inside the fish. It provides juiciness and a nice lemony flavor. I had a spool of twine. Sounds like I'm beginning a poem. Why is it in here? Couldn't tell you. I'll use this half a lemon from earlier. This is a great opportunity to use shitty lemons, I will say, because they're firm and they slice up really nicely. You don't need to go too thin here. We're not gonna necessarily eat these after the fact, but they do make a nice garnish. You can put slits in them. I'm gonna make 2 on each side, especially for the ones that have the spine in them. The meat here is very thick towards the tail, because you'll notice there's no opening here. So making these slits just kind of help encourage the fish to cook as quickly as over here. Otherwise, you can end up with perfectly cooked fish here and undercooked fish here, or perfectly cooked fish here and overcooked fish here. So doing that is just like an added insurance. It doesn't have to be like a crazy fancy technique. You just basically cut to the spine, little incisions on either side. You don't have to do that with this fish because the spine is removed. And then we'll season with salt and pepper inside, both sides. My dad, growing up, we would eat a lot of like whole trout and he would cut the heads off and he would make finger puppets with them. And at one point I was like, okay, I like actually hate this. Like I'm actually scared. I think I cried like more than a few times. So for the ones that are butterflied, season them inside, put the lemon on top, and then we'll tie them up. And then for these that are whole, all we're doing is just kind of stuffing them in there. And they can go like into the head. I grew up eating a lot of whole fish. My mom made whole trout often. Never like this, it was always like butterflied and with breadcrumbs on top, which is very good. But it wasn't like a foreign concept to me. I think if you grow up eating whole fish, it doesn't seem adventurous or scary. And I'm literally just tying them together so that nothing falls out of it. Here you're dealing with the bones after the fact. Here you're dealing with tying and whatever. So your choice. But again, I think that doing it whole just like this is the best way, but choose your own adventure. And the last thing we'll do before they go on the grill, drizzle it with olive oil. All fish have oil in their skin, which makes them nice for grilling, but adding oil to the outside will just help them release from the grates much, much easier. You won't have any sticking. You'll have a much better experience. So make sure they have oil on both sides. So now we're gonna go outside, we're gonna grill. It's happening. We tried to do literally everything in our power to schedule this around not rain. It's raining, so we're gonna grill in the rain. It's like barely raining, honestly. For all the fish, the butterflied ones and the regular whole ones, I'm going to put spine side towards me so that the cut side is away from me. And that's because when I go to flip them, I'm not trying to flip the opening side, which will make it really tough. Wow, this grill really means business. You can oil the grill grates if you are concerned about sticking, but oiling the fish itself is gonna sort of prevent that. The bigger ones are gonna take closer to 6 minutes. These ones will take closer to 4 minutes, but I'm gonna close this and get out of the rain, and we'll see you when I'm ready to flip. We are going to flip these little fishies. Any fish that's not ready to come off the grill or skillet, it will stick. So the reason that we're able to just sort of effortlessly flip is because we've seared them effectively on a very high heat and they're cooked through, meaning crispy and brown. And then this guy. And then this guy. See, that one's sticking a little, so I'm gonna let it go. That one's sticking a little too. So it looks like my heat is higher back there. I'm gonna shut this again and come back to those two front ones in a minute or so. Just give them a bit more time. If the fish is resisting you, if it's sticking, if it's feeling like it's not effortlessly just flipping over, then just give it some more time. It's raining again. Okay, we're back. The thing about fish is also depending on your grill, they will all kind of cook at different rates, so they don't all need to get flipped at the same time. Even this one up here, I kind of pushed a little bit and I could have let it go a little bit longer. Oh, this might just need to be forced a little bit. Yeah, we have some ripping. We want to avoid that, but it happened. I should also be using grilling tools. I just got this grill. I don't own any. So we are going to let that fish continue to cook until it is just as brown and cooked through on the other side, about another 6 minutes per side. So we're looking at like a 12 to 16 minute range, 12 for the smaller ones, or the ones that have the spine removed, closer to 16 for the larger ones. These two from the back. Oh, the head fell off. Oh my God, no. Support the head like a baby. This one has been on there for a minute, so this one's coming off. These are beautiful, I gotta say. And this one, all right, and I'm gonna turn this off and I'm gonna scrub it later because that's what a good grill owner does, which I am now. This would be a good opportunity to grill other things. If you wanted to throw some scallions on there or some zucchini or eggplant, just to kind of like eat alongside your grilled fish, that's great. I'm a huge fan of just like, if you're already grilling, just keep grilling. So the skin is crispy, the fish are cooked through, it's dripping rain on the thing, let's go inside. These are just gonna hang out for a minute. I'm gonna cut these tomatoes and put them on this plate. For this, you want the onion to be pretty thin. It's really here to like season the tomatoes. This salad is matching the plate in a way that is extremely pleasing to me. I'm gonna add a little chili on that. These tomatoes are really acidic and really juicy and really sweet at the same time, so they don't need any vinegar or any other sort of seasoning on them, but if your tomatoes are kind of like not great, you feel free to dress them, season them accordingly to make them really sing.
If you had a boring tomato, what would the seasoning be?
Fish sauce, anchovies, vinegar. I'm gonna finish that with some oil, too. That's pretty much it. Just in keeping with the like vaguely Grecian theme of it all, I'm gonna slice some feta just for kind of nibbling alongside. This is again a very lean meal. There's not a ton of fat going on. So I feel like not an obvious choice, but you could also do something like aioli, seasoned yogurt. But I think like just a few pieces of sliced feta in a bowl to kind of snack on between everything is really nice. Cool. Now it's time to take the bones off the fish. Fish kind of tell you how they want to be broken down. I think it's nice to serve these just whole, either on the sheet pan or on a plate or something like that. But if people are concerned with how to sort of get the fish away from the bones, for me, the easiest way is to use a spoon or a fork, and you kind of go along the spine, like that. Oh, that's fine, came off inside. Okay, well that's the tail with no bone inside. So it literally just will peel off the spine. And you can kind of just pry it away, the collar. And then the spine just lifts out of the fish. The second side is much easier to do. So we have our fish, we have our salads, we have our dressing, we have our snacky feta, and I feel like the idea is just to set all of this out and let people take what they want and like dress their own plates. And these are a bit on the large side, but I would average like 1 fish per person, just on the safe side. You can help people fillet it themselves if they want and have like your little salads and sides and whatever with it. I feel like it's a very actually low maintenance way to make dinner for people or just yourself. And honestly, I'm so thrilled to have a grill. Thrilled for the grill. This is what I wish for you. I wish for you to be outside enjoying this, and I wish for it to not be raining, and I wish you to have many friends and lovers and people that you care about to eat this with you in a siren-free environment. For these, I would just kind of eat around the string or snip them with scissors and remove them before you served it to people. And for this, you kind of just spoon it on top of your fish. You could even like spoon it on top of the whole fish, but they kind of look so good without anything on them, especially if they've been soaked by the rain, as these ones have. If we can't embrace it and make fun of it, what can we do? That is so good. The cheeks, if you are lucky enough to get the head, are obviously like right here beneath the eye. They're actually quite meaty and like always really tender. I think it's like almost the best part of the whole fish. So that is it. That is our grilled fish dinner. Make it in the summertime, make it in a different time. I would be so proud to see you grill a whole fish, whether you made one or none of these sides or dressings to go along with it. I feel like it's just impressive that you decided to believe in yourself and put that fish on the grill. So let me know how it goes. So I got a grill. I did a lot of research. I decided on the Weber Spirit 2 310. The guy delivered it to my apartment. He put it on the ground floor, and I was like, oh, can you bring it up to my apartment? And he was like, oh, no, we only do curbside. And I was like, oh, okay. He's like, it's just you? I was like, yeah. He's like, you live here just by yourself? I was like, yeah. He's like, well, see you later. And like, that was it. I was like,
he was doubting your ability to make the.
No, he was like, oh, I feel bad for you. And I thought he was gonna be like, oh, it's just you up here. Of course I'll help you upstairs. But he didn't. He acknowledged that it was sad that it was just me and then left. So I was like, well, have a great day, sir.